Living in a fishbowl. What can you say? All right, now we're on.
Yep.
But that's not going to work.
Mute this.
All set?
Yep.
I'm getting reverb.
You are.
I don't hear those mics. I hear this one over here. I don't hear anything out here.
I don't know. Hearing it over here. Technical glitches. You know, we're not Warner Brothers Studios.
Ryan.
How's that?
I don't know.
Can we shut that speaker off? Wherever it's coming from?
Can we just come back? Do you want me to just come back out? I can exit.
You can all hear me, right, out there?
Why is that speaker on her desk? You need that one? I've never seen that before.
I don't know. I'm not a technical person.
But that's the
I
first
can't
time.
plug in my TV.
Is that giving the reverb? Is your mic giving the reverb there, Dolores? Coming in there?
The computer, yeah.
Well, we can't deal with that all night, so I'm sorry. Just be patient, please.
Just get out. And then,
But what I can do is get through what the governor requires me to say, whether I like it or not. And this stems from COVID limitations and meetings. It's been scripted down a bit. My name is Steve DeYoung, and I chair this wonderful board meeting. And it's my distinct pleasure, because I have been away for 6 months, and my fellow board members, excuse me, have lifted the weight. And to each of them, I'll take just a moment to say thank you to those that are, not regular members, but alternate members. They jumped right in. And I know Mr. Igo, sitting to my left, is more a historian of this board than I am. So he knows how to chair a meeting, and he did a beautiful job from what I saw. Did things different than I did, but that's okay. I won't mention it. So my name is Steve DeYoung, and I chair this wonderful board. We now convene the May 9th meeting of the Yarmouth Zoning Board of Appeals as required by Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 through 25, and pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, known as an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, which was extended by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 23. The public are able to attend this meeting either in person or via the alternative public access. Some of you might be familiar with Zoom. Members of the public may watch the meeting live on Channel 18 or watch and or participate in the meeting hosted in Zoom. The meeting notice provides necessary instructions to join the meeting via Zoom. And please note that the audio, video, and screen share functionings will be disabled during the meeting unless recognized by our wonderful board administrator to my right, who will recognize you if you use your raise hand function. Required by this statute is the need to call a roll call to make sure we have a quorum. I know we have a quorum, we have a full board, yeah, but that's all right. So I'm here. Mr. Igo, you're here?
Present, yes.
Mr. Mantoni? Here. Mr. Frapery?
Here.
Mr. Panabianco?
Here.
Look at, we're all here. That's nice to know. So is the last petitioner on Zoom at this time?
yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
She's been invited in?
I think the technician will allow her to talk momentarily.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's get her in. Can we invite her in?
I think he's working on it.
Oh,
Would be Tessa. Dave.
Must have lost my hearing while I was away, too.
You lost that a long time ago.
I did. You're right. So I see your name up there.
Hi, all. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, Tessa. Yes, we can. And you were here talking about petition 5109, is that correct?
That is correct.
And that's for property located at 68 Evergreen Street, Suites, no, of course not. It's for property located at
205 Old Main Street.
205 Old Main Street, yeah, right down the street from me, in South Yarmouth, that property being in a zoning district RS40. The applicant seeks a special permit pursuant to sections 301.2 and/or a variance under 301.46 to modify the existing parking lot by removing in-lot trees for the construction of a 101.8 feet by 117.6 foot solar carpentry canopy over the rear parking lot. This is Tessa Sheed, who is on the phone with us, and you have a request, is that right?
I do have a request. I would request a continuance. The applicant, DC Solar, he has a lot of the technical information around the project. He's had a family emergency today, so we were hoping to jump onto the next meeting so we could discuss his
Okay,
agreement.
thank you. Is anybody here interested in this petition, and they've come this evening because of that interest? Seeing no hands, we can now consider it as a request for continuance. Anybody prepared to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the continuance.
I'll second that motion.
Now, thank you, gentlemen. That is not going to be, if we vote on it affirmatively, that is not going to be effective until such time as you come in as the representative and sign an extension agreement, okay?
I'll be able,
Right?
yep, I'll send that to you, Tessa.
You'll email it up and she can send it back
Sir.
to us, right? All right.
Thank you, Bruce.
Well, you know, we don't want to inconvenience you.
Not at all.
Although you ought to move down here, not stay up there in that Kingston. So, does anybody on the board care to have discussion on this motion so made? Hearing none. Does anybody, are you able to give us a date for the continuance?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. May 23rd, we only have 3 petitions.
What?
May 23rd.
Okay. Please interpret for me.
May 23rd.
So it continued to May 23rd, 24th, and we'll look forward to seeing you that night once we take our vote, and remembering you need to sign an extension agreement. John? Aye on the motion? Aye. Sean?
Aye.
And Jay?
Aye.
Anthony?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, therefore carries unanimously. And that extension agreement will be sent to you no later than tomorrow, I bet. Look forward to
Excellent.
seeing you on the 23rd.
Thank you. Talk then.
Yeah. Something interesting about 5/23/24, isn't it? It's a cool day. All right, the next one is that of petition 5104. Anthony and Margaret, and I'm hoping I'm saying this, come right up to this table, please, yeah? Ciula? Okay, thank you, thank you. It's concerning property located at 49 Vacation Lane in West Yarmouth, that property being in the zoning district R25. Our applicant seeks a special permit pursuant to 104.3.2, subparagraph 2 of our bylaws, and/or a variance under 203.5 of the same bylaws for front setback relief to construct a 10 by 12 addition on a pre-existing non-conforming structure. Would you identify yourselves, please?
Yes. So we're at 49 Vacation Lane.
No, what's your name?
Oh, sorry, excuse me. My name is Anthony Shula, and this is my wife, Margaret Shula, and we are the owners of 49
I
Vacation
thought
Lane.
so, sure. Okay, why don't you tell us all about the petition?
Okay, so we're looking to build a 10 by 12 addition on the side of the house, which would effectively square the house off. So the addition would connect up to a existing three-season room. And this three-season room is 19.5 feet from Cottage Drive. To make the house square, because the house is sitting at a slight skew on the lot, we will end up at 19.3 inches from Cottage Drive. So we're seeking a special permit or variance to build the addition with the extra 0.2 inches towards Cottage Drive.
Very succinctly said, thank you.
Thank you.
That's starting this evening off wonderfully. John, any questions of our petitioners?
Just what type of room are you planning on using? Well,
So what we're going to do is going to be a kitchen bumper more for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Jay?
No questions?
Anthony?
Just curiosity, what are you doing with the fireplace?
There is a.
Oh, the chimney?
The chimney, yeah.
So we're going to remove that. The only appliance that was gas was the hot water tank, so I put in an electric hot water tank. And they've had the gas shut off by the gas company, so we're just going to remove that.
All right. Just curious, because that was right at the outset.
Yeah.
No further questions on that?
Thank you. Well, I got to tell you, I ordinarily would not vote to grant any relief on this particular issue, because I just don't want to see houses crouch just on the street side. It's dangerous, and it's hindering in some fashion people coming down Vacation Lane. That having been said, you have the unfortunate reality of being on a corner. And that means you've got two street faces to be concerned about. And there is nothing more logical than to square this off by an addition. If that's where you're going to go, it seems that it's a suitable and right source of bringing you some happiness without hindering the public. You'll take that deck back, right?
Correct.
Is that coming off
We're
altogether?
just going to cut the deck off right where that would be. And the existing deck is going to stay. We're just going to trim that up a little.
You'll butt it right up to the...
You got it. Yep.
Okay. Well, very nice plan, very nice presentation, thank you. Does anybody in our audience care to speak in favor of this petition? If so, please come to our microphone, tell us who you are, and we will hear you. No crowd stampede back there. You're doing good. Let's see if anybody's opposed. Is anybody opposed to this petition that would like to speak? Seeing none, we now close it to the public's input. Yeah, I'll read it in. We now close it to the public's input, save for some homework I'm going to do here in just a minute, addressing an email in. But people in the public out here in our audience cannot participate further because we're going to open it to board deliberations in just a minute. After I read something from Madison Wetter, who says, I'm Madison Wetter. My husband and I own the property at 76 Cottage Drive, West Yarmouth, Mass. As abutting property owners, we wanted to share our perspective on the variance petition concerning 46 Vacation Lane, which directly faces our residence. Regrettably, we won't be able to attend tomorrow's meeting, but we felt it crucial to express our support. Support? You have a neighbor that you went out and got this letter from her.
That is wonderful.
From the proposed project. After reviewing their plans, we believe granting the setback variance for their addition is warranted for the following reason. The variance requested is minor and is unlikely to significantly impact the character of our neighborhood. The petitioners have consistently enhanced their property over recent years. Are those brown shingles gone? New shingles on? Or are they coming?
We washed them down nice and clean.
Okay. We anticipate this addition will further contribute positively. We trust the Board of Appeals will consider our input alongside others and make the most appropriate decision for our wonderful neighborhood. Please feel free to reach out if necessary. What a wonderful,
That was very
wonderful
nice.
I don't know if you wrote that for her, but she really spoke nicely. All right, so let's open it up to discussion. What do you think, Anthony?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's a very small change that they're asking for here. It's an appropriate structure. It is, I think, a unique lot abutting two roads, and the shape of it, where the location of the building is, makes it that, forces them to come in and seek the relief that they're asking for. And in my opinion, it won't be more non-conforming in a way that would impact the neighborhood.
All right. Mr. Jay, what's your thought?
Well, since you're back, I thought we'd use your favorite word. I think this is de minimis. So, as far as a change goes, so no, I'm supportive of it. I think it's reasonable. I'm not sure. I think it's a special permit, though. Is it? I believe, is it not?
Well, we've treated these as special permits before. I don't understand why we would do that, but I think it meets it meets both standards no matter what.
I mean, it is
We'll
already.
go to our legal scholar here next to me. 'Cause
Okay. I figured it was already a pre-existing non-conforming, so that's why I figured it was a special permit. But I would support it.
If he says that's the case, then I'm going with it.
All right.
I think it's a special permit. I don't know. I don't care. All right, Sean.
Yes, I do think it's a special permit. I think it's an extension of a legally pre-existing, non-conforming structure. If it was new and it wasn't already there, then I think it would be a variance. Generally, I think we require a plan to see what we're actually approving, which you do not have tonight. However, your representation that it's just going to be part of your kitchen is good enough for me, and it's just squaring off the building. I think it does meet the criteria under the special permit. I don't think it's going to be substantially more non-conforming to the neighborhood or the zoning district, and that's what it requires under 104.3 subparagraph 2. So I'm supportive of it, and I believe the board sounds like they are, and if not, I would recommend that they support it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you, Mr. Igo. And John?
Yeah, I'd agree with the other board members. Corner lot, just a couple inches. I don't have a problem with it. Thank you.
Well, as I indicated, I'm very reluctant to grant this relief, but in this instance, understand why it is appropriate. I agree it does meet the criteria of the special permit. Special permit shall not be granted unless the applicant demonstrates that no undue influence, hazard, nor congestion will result by the non-conforming, nor will there be any detriment to the town or neighborhood. We've heard from your neighbor, it's going to be a plus in the neighborhood. I can't see how adding that room is going to add any congestion down there. So you've met the criteria.
Wonderful.
Okay. And so let's take a vote. We have to do it by roll call, I'm sorry to say.
I'll make a motion to
We need that first, too, don't we?
approve the special permit as requested.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
I'll second.
Jay?
John? Aye.
John?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Carries 5-0. A decision will be drafted. It will be filed with the town clerk's office. Once that occurs, you will receive notice that it's occurred. And that starts a 20-day waiting period. The 20 days is a technical waiting period. I don't anticipate anybody appealing from it, but you never know. Okay? So listen, it's been a pleasure to see you tonight. You ought to move down here. Really enjoy it.
Withdraw the variance.
It's a variance.
Oh, you had a variance request too, that's right, yeah. Who's going to move on the variance?
So moved to withdraw the variance without prejudice.
Are you asking us to do that?
Yes.
Good, that's a smart answer.
I'll second that.
It means without prejudice, so you're not having any negative effect, okay?
Because we granted the special permit, you don't need the variance.
Okay.
Is the reason, just,
So with the special permit, do I still need to register that with the
Yes.
Constable County?
Sure, you go to the registry of, you'll get all those instructions, but
Okay.
you take the grant of the special permit to the Registry of Deeds in Barnstable. You record it there and return proof of the recordation back to our administrator.
Okay,
Okay?
wonderful.
Thank you.
All right,
That's good
thank
for
you all. Thank you,
tonight.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Send all the information.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
We do need to take a vote on the variance.
Oh, we didn't vote on it? Okay. Aye.
Good luck with
Follow up on
good luck
it.
with your project.
See you in the future,
Withdrawal,
casually.
yeah. Withdrawal of the
Didn't vote on it. Withdrawn on the variance.
Oh, withdrawn?
Are you and I?
Shake that lady's hand.
Well, it's 5-0.
Steve.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was.
Oh, thank you, yeah. Oh, your hands are warm, thank you.
Yes, oh, no problem, no problem. Yeah, that's okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
We're ahead of ourselves.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy the
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, more business. Yeah, we just did. Next petition is that of Boris Kruk, trustee of the Kruk Homes Realty Trust, property located at 2 Scrimshaw Lane, West Yarmouth, Mass. That property is in a District R25. Our applicant seeks a special permit pursuant to 104.3.2, subparagraph 2, for side setback relief to raise and replace an existing single-family dwelling in floodplain with a 2-story structure and expand the reconstruct the pergola and deck. I see that it's listed that Attorney Andrew Singer is, and by goodness, he's there at the table. Well, hello, Mr. Singer.
Good
Are you
evening.
presenting this night for the,
I will be presenting this night, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Andrew Singer, attorney in Dennisport. Behind me in the first row is Mr. Crook, the applicant owner, and also Dan Speakman, the project engineer. This property is a single-family house on the corner of Scrimshaw Lane and Exeter Road. It is in a flood zone. The proposal is to raise and replace the house, as well as the deck and the pergola that are there today. It would be a 2-story house, no change in the number of bedrooms. The replacement house will be elevated to comply with floodplain regulations. The existing house, the main box of the existing house is conforming to all the setbacks, coverages. The proposed box of the house is conforming to all the setbacks and coverages. What is non-conforming, other than lot size on this property, is only the side deck and pergola on the northern side property line. It is currently 5.4 feet from the property line. The Crook family has owned the property for 18 years now. They spend a lot of time outside, and so what they were hoping to do is to replace the deck and the pergola roughly in the same location, but pulling it back from 5.4 to 5.8 to match the existing deck that's under the pergola. Right now, one juts out more than the other. So the only nonconformity, other than lot size, that you'll have here is that the pergola will remain too close to the property line, but it will be slightly less nonconforming than at present. All other setbacks will comply, building height complies, the site coverage is well under what is allowed. There will be no hazard or congestion to traffic, and the view is not going to be, is going to be minimal. Parking is adequate. Floodplain regulations are obviously important. So the house is being elevated, as I said. All runoff will be contained on site, and the Conservation Commission has granted an order of conditions for the proposal that's on the plans before you. With that, and recognizing that the chairman would like to get that ball game.
don't you feel hurried?
I'm not hurried, but you
Stay
know.
here all night if you want.
Well, no. Some of you have been here long enough to remember when my father would go on and on. So I'm going to try to, at least on this case, shorten it a little bit. If you have any questions, we're here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, let's be fair here. We're going to mix it up a bit. Mr. Frapery, any questions of our esteemed colleague in front of us?
No, it looks like a really nice addition, and You know, I mean, I basically support it, but I do have a question about the side setback. I would have liked to have seen the pergola come back a little bit more than you're looking at right now, so I don't have a question about it, but, you know, getting it back, since it's so non-conforming now, I would have preferred to see that happen, maybe to 10 feet or so. But I don't have any questions.
All right. Anthony?
No, you know, I drove by the property and viewed it. I see what your intent is. I don't have any questions for you.
All right. Mr. Igo?
Yeah, I share the same concerns that Jay does as well. Why can't you bring that pergola back to 15 feet? Why can't you comply with the setback over there?
If you do, as I mentioned, the family spends a lot, through the chair, so okay to respond? I know not everyone has spoken yet. Not okay to respond?
Sure.
Oh, okay, great. The family, as I said, they spend a lot of time outside. They really enjoy it outside, and if you pulled the pergola and the deck back that far, it would just really, as you can see on it, it would really reduce the availability for the family to be out there. I will note that if you look at where the driveway is, that driveway is still even closer to the property line than what's proposed. And it does come back, it's slight, granted, 0.4 of a foot, but it is coming back a bit. There is also a shed in the back that's even closer, so there's still, you've seen the neighborhood, you know on that corner, you have, so I said the driveway and the shed are still closer. This comes back a bit, but they were hoping to just be able to retain the deck and pergola space because it's so important to the family.
Well,
And feeling that it's not substantially more detrimental.
Well, I can assure you that if their next-door neighbor came in and wanted to build a deck and a pergola that was going to be 5 feet off their lot line abutting this property, I would not approve that.
Well, and if if the Crooks were proposing to construct a deck and a pergola 5 feet from the property line where none exists, I wouldn't expect you to approve it. Again, this has been there for decades, and so again, that's why we're under 104.3.2 requesting your review as to whether it's by making it slightly less nonconforming and not increasing it. Certainly, is it, even if you feel that it's detrimental because you wish it was further back, does it rise to the level of being substantially more detrimental, which is the special permit standard, and respectfully would suggest that it doesn't in this case.
Well, I guess we'll be the judge of that, right?
That's why you're on that side of the table.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mangiani?
I've got the same concerns. I mean, we're building it from scratch, right? So why can't you move it to the back of the deck or just in another location?
I just asked him that question because I'm the lawyer. I can't answer that question.
Yeah. I mean, I'm concerned. It's 5 feet off.
Come to the microphone and tell us if you'd like.
Oh, they're talking first, then I think somebody will. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay? Do you have a Conservation Commission statement of conditions in your file? Because I can't see it.
I have a copy of it if you do not, Mr. Chairman.
No, I'd need to see that before I have any. This is it? I've got this in my file.
Okay.
I have the order of conditions here. It was just issued on April 20, April 23rd.
One-page document?
No, it's
Okay, I'd
it's
like
their
to see
11-page
I'd like to see
document.
the statement
Oh,
of
yeah, sure.
conditions.
In this case, you know the area. There's not water around the property, but it's in the floodplain, because of the FEMA map. So it is being elevated. It's not being elevated a lot in this case, but it's enough that it complies with
2 feet, right?
Yeah,
Top of
it just
foundation,
complies with-
13.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And to address the concerns that that were
Are they about made a decision on that?
question, would the board be willing to split the difference if they pulled it back to 10 feet? So going from 5.4, doubling it to 10 feet.
Let's get all the questions out before we start negotiating a resolution, okay?
That's fine.
Are you done?
He's Okay.
Are you done?
Well, I'm just waiting for the answer.
Well, and that was the answer. Yeah, no, Mr. Chairman, I only said that because
answer.
3 of the 5 board members expressed the same concern, so that's why I was responding
Oh,
to that.
he asked why you can't move it to the back of the
Oh,
house.
to the back, I'm sorry, I thought you meant, oh. To the back, meaning,
Back of the deck,
The
even.
backyard.
Yeah, right. Just move it off the side, you know?
I think,
I mean, most decks are on the back of the house.
yeah, he's saying, can you put the pergola here or move, put it here? I don't, I'm not sure we can redesign that, I don't know, I don't know how it might impact the septic system or something else, Mr. Antoni. I mean, what they were trying to do, as you can see, was to mimic the shape, style, feel that it's been for many decades. So that's why they preferred not, that's why I think they kept it in that position.
Well,
But
Are you
there,
done,
oh,
Yeah.
because I'm going to give you some insight to my position.
sure, please.
I think that's such an encroachment on a sideline.
Sorry? You say again, Mr. Chairman?
I think that is such an encroachment on a sideline.
Okay.
When there is the opportunity to obviate the nonconformity.
Okay. I'm listening, Mr. Chairman.
No,
Okay,
you
we
get that
have
done, and then we'll do it.
Okay, okay. Hold on.
a lot of
Please,
discussion about a deck here.
So, my feeling is that when we are presented with a special permit request, raise and replace, if we can reduce some of the nonconformity, that's what our job is. Because we could say, no, we want a full sideline, side yard there. And it's unfortunately is it on a corner?
It is a corner lot with.
So, you're talking about a front there, right?
No, this is not one of the fronts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't care where it's located, it still can be reduced. The nonconformity can be reduced. And I appreciate that it may have been there for eons. But that's not what our job is, to support what's been on the ground for the last 100 years. Our job is to improve where we can, while sticking to the letter of the zoning bylaws. So, if we stuck to the letter, there'd be a whole problem in terms of access of that deck through the house. And I understand why you've got it there. It makes sense to me physically, but we've got a bylaw to support. So I got to tell you, I couldn't support it this evening, and that you will do whatever you want with that information. We can bring it to a vote, or we can entertain a motion to continue. But I'm going to give you some insight as to how I might look at it different. And I wouldn't look at it different on a promise and a prayer. I want to see a plan. Okay? And what I want to see, I think everybody should see these statement of conditions from the Conservation Commission, so they're all aware of what the Conservation Commission's concerns were. And they're not abrasive to the homeowner. They are fair conditions. There's nothing exciting there. But I think they all should see it. Okay. And that's not in our packet, so I'd return it to you and ask that you get 5 copies, or however many copies Rhonda usually wants, so that can be in our packet the next time we speak, unless we move forward with it tonight. I would be okay.
I'm still listening.
I would be okay with, a substantial move back off the street, but I wouldn't expect that you'd comply with the, sideline requirements for this lot. Just something substantial. 4 feet don't do it for me.
Well, okay, just so you know, this is an interesting, in contrast to your first case tonight, this is a corner lot. The house though complies with both front setbacks, so that's not an issue. It's the sides, one of the side setbacks is
I
what we're
understand.
talking about. Right now, we're 5 feet. The requirement would be 15. The current requirement, it wasn't the requirement when this was built, but the current requirement is 15, and the question is, what might the board, again, you want to see a plan, I appreciate that, you want copies of the order of conditions, no problem with that.
Well, I was speaking, so let me tell you what I could support.
Please.
10 feet.
Let me tell you what I could support, 15 feet.
If it's 15 feet, we don't have to be here.
Exactly.
That's right.
I don't know why you're here anyway. You got two sliders coming out the rear. What's back there? You can put
Well, the
a,
septic system's back
you
there.
can put it right over it.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to
Chime in?
chime in?
I agree with Sean. I think since we're building this from scratch, there's no reason not to meet this 15-foot guideline.
Jay, your thoughts?
At minimum 10 feet, but I agree with them that if we're redoing this is a raise and replace, we should do everything we can to conform.
And that's not unique to this petitioner. That's the stance we've taken in many projects.
Not to necessarily, you haven't taken the position that a project should absolutely conform. You've said, try to lessen it substantially, which is what you're saying, but a couple members are saying make it conform. That's would be a position that I think might be a little beyond what you generally look at with a special permit.
Well, what would you like us to do tonight, because you've heard that you're not going to win the vote?
Oh, well, no, I was going to ask for a continuance, but I didn't know if Mr.
I'm sorry,
Pagliacco would like
Anthony.
to
What are your
weigh in on that.
No, I'm in conformity with the board on this. If it's possible to become more compliant, I'm happy to urge that.
All right. No, we appreciate, we're not going to ask you for a vote right now. We'll ask you for a continuance, so we can,
What purpose?
so we can consider what you've said to us. And the chair's request to submit more copies of the order of conditions.
I'd like to make a motion.
Feel free.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the request with a 15-foot setback.
Once again, why would he
To
come?
do that?
Yeah, we wouldn't need that.
He wouldn't need to come.
Then I don't see why we're continuing it. For what purpose?
Because he's asked to modify what is being offered to us, and perhaps when you see it, you'll feel differently. We've always granted continuances like this. It's not a big deal.
Well, we just have two members who are asking for 15 feet, who are not going to vote for less than 15 feet. So I'm not understanding what the need for a continuance is. They can't get the vote. So that means if you come back with something, unless you're just shopping the board and hoping that there's a different member sitting,
We can't do that. You're the sitting board.
well, there might be people sitting differently at the next
Well,
hearing.
here's the deal. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Hearing none. Got nothing to vote on. Now, where are we? You moved to grant them a continuance.
I didn't move to grant him a continuance.
You didn't?
No, I moved to grant the relief requested at 15-foot setback.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'll make a motion to grant the continuance. Is
Is there
there,
a second?
I'll second that.
Can I, point of order, Mr. Chairman? I appreciate it. The applicant be willing, if the board would entertain, instead of a continuance, a withdrawal without prejudice.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. That makes it easy for us.
I'd like to make a motion to allow the petitioner to withdraw without prejudice.
second?
Can we do it on a voice vote, please? All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carries unanimously. Therefore, the petition has been allowed to be withdrawn without prejudice. Brings us to our last matter. Don't wander far there, mister.
I'm not going anywhere. Thank you. Thank you for your time on this one.
You're quite welcome. Oh, my goodness, we might make it. I can give this to you there, young lady. No need to keep it. Brings us to our last matter, petition 5107, T&C Holdings, Inc., also known as Sandbar Holdings LLC and Sandbar Management, Inc., concerning property located at Route 28, West Yarmouth. between numbers 492 and 518. Our applicant this evening seeks a special permit pursuant to 104.3.2, subparagraph 3 and 4. Excuse me, my voice is failing me. To redivide land, further develop the created parcels. Attorney Singer is appearing on behalf, is that correct?
That is correct.
Well, good to see you again. What are you going to tell us?
All right, good evening. For the record, Andrew Singer, attorney on behalf of the applicant. With me at the table is Kieran Healy, project engineer, and in the audience behind me is Joe Marama, owner of the property. We were before you looking at these 3 dilapidated motels a couple years ago, maybe, and there were some concerns that the board had raised. There was both legal and what it was going to look like. So we withdrew at that point, and we told you we were going to go back to the drawing board. It's taken a little while, but we went back, and so we have a revised proposal for you this evening. The upshot of the proposal is that those 3 eyesores will come down, and what we're proposing on the plan is that, and you can see it there, is that a new conforming commercial lot that would be in the future developed with a principal building, principal use, principal parking, subject to site plan review, Board of Appeals, whatever it needed, whatever a conforming lot would require for relief in Yarmouth would be created. And again, if you grant this approval, we also have to go to the planning board, because they would have to actually create the lot. But we're proposing to take these 3 lots and redivide them into 2 lots. One lot is this conforming lot up front, and the other lot in the back is a non-conforming lot that would be attached to the water park property for reconfigured and some expanded parking. You've granted some relief back in this area before for some limited parking back here. What we would be proposing in order to screen the parking until such time as the front lot is actually developed would be to continue the white fencing that is at the park all the way around the conforming lot. So it would just look like, right now when you drive by the water park, you see the fence, you don't know what's really.
Well, you'd mound it the same way, is that what you're saying?
No, we're not considering mounding it there because that butts right up to the main hotel, and it's not mounded on the side of the driveway. So no, the idea would be not to continue that mound because it would just be out of place right there. But it would be shielded and protected and screened and attractive. And the parking the expanded parking on the lot that would be used in conjunction with the water park would be fully screened from Route 28. So we're asking for a special, either to amend the prior special permits or new relief. I submitted or both. I submitted copies of prior decisions for the park that involve the various properties. We would respectfully submit that this will not be substantially more detrimental, mostly in part because the 3 pre-existing non-conforming motels, which every building on all 3 of those lots, I think, is non-conforming. I mean, they're kissing the property lines. And so all of those non-conforming setbacks are going to be completely eliminated. And when the front lot is redeveloped, there can be no non-conformities. It's going to be a brand-new lot with brand-new permitting under the town, so it's going to be 100% meeting setbacks, everything, parking, landscaping, building, et cetera. So we are eliminating numerous non-conformities and additional curb cuts, and we'll be replacing it with future redevelopment up front that will conform to everything. It will also, and this is important, and I think, Mr. Igo, if I recall correctly, you had raised this question with the prior proposal, which is you were concerned that the building we had shown on that plan was not a principal building. And it wasn't really. It was an accessory as part of the park. What you'll have here fronting on Route 28 now, when it's permitted, is a principal building. It has to be, because it's going to be a principal building on the lot itself. And so we submit that will address that, responsive to that concern that, not just you, but that responsive to that concern about wanting a principal building and development up on Route 28 in place of the 3 motel properties that are there today. Public safety is going to be enhanced. We're going to, as I said, we're going to close at least one more curb cut. And the secondary egress, so what's there today, and you know the property. So if you're looking at the property from Route 28, all the way to the left there is an egress for the water park that would stay, it'd be reconfigured, and Kieran can discuss any of the
Is
technical.
that over this property?
Yeah, oh, yes. Well, it will be part of Lot 2, the non-conforming lot that we mentioned. So Lot 1 will be the completely conforming lot that's outlined in black on the plan. The non-conforming lot would have a piece of frontage on Route 28. It would be that driveway, but then the rest of that lot is in the back, and it's an odd shape in the back, because there are some angles back there.
I'm a little confused. Where is this other lot?
See, here's the problem. Well, people at home want to know. So how do we do this so that we can,
Well, it's shown on, I can just point it out on the plan from here.
Sure.
So that's the conforming lot.
Yep.
And the non-conforming lot, you can see the triangular marks, and I apologize, it's right there. So it goes in the back as a triangular, it's a lighter line, but it is on there coming back.
So where your proposed parking is the non-conforming lot?
Yes. Correct. The parking, let me, sorry, get the microphone. The parking that's shown, that's in black, that's darker, that's on that non-conforming lot.
So that non-conforming lot is a parking lot?
Correct. It'll be, to be used what would happen, and we've done this on plans, and Kieran's done it several times, is when, if you approve it, when the planning board, when we would ask the planning board to approve it, they would approve the plan, and they'd approve Lot 1 as a conforming lot. Lot 2 would be approved with a note that said, this is an unbuildable lot to be used only, this is a separately unbuildable lot to be used only in conjunction with the adjacent property.
can I ask before we go much further? Why are we here tonight? Isn't the logical place to start when you create a new plan, the planning board?
Not when there are zoning issues that create it, because a planning board, under Chapter 41, has to approve certain things that meet certain criteria. But under the, I think it's the Smalley case, if a planning board's approval does not grant any zoning relief, so if it creates zoning nonconformities or exacerbates them, then you're losing your grandfathered status by going to the planning board first. So that's why we have to come to the Board of Appeals first.
Okay, just seems to be a circuitous route that makes no sense to me.
Under
You know?
40, it's important under 40A because of the grandfather protection, how the grandfather protections are interpreted under the
Okay,
law.
thank you, thank you. So we're going to start questions by our members in an order, okay?
Yes.
We're going to start with Mr. Igo. Any
Okay.
questions of our petitioner?
Yeah, I do. Where's the frontage for your lot in the rear?
The frontage is the,
So you don't have adequate frontage?
oh, no,
So you're seeking variance relief for that?
no. Special permit relief only. Because it's only going to be,
Special permit relief for this, a newly created lot that doesn't have the requisite frontage?
because of the process that's typically done with the planning board that I mentioned, which is there would be a note on the plan identifying that parcel as not a separately buildable lot to be used only in conjunction with the adjacent property.
So you can't use that property unless it's used with the one out front? That's what you're telling us?
No, the water park property.
Oh, I see. You're gonna take this and put it over there.
Correct.
Okay. And this future parcel that you're building here, how do we know it'll ever be built on? Just because we create a lot? You're saying that by creating a lot, you also are entitled to create a parking lot? What you're doing is you're creating a parking lot. You're taking down the hotels, you're knocking them all down. You're creating a new lot that might be or may never be built on. And right now, you're asking this board to allow you to just use the property as a parking lot. Am I understanding that correct?
No.
Okay, then tell me how it's different.
It's different because we're not looking to put parking on this lot.
I didn't say that. I'm asking you what you're asking for tonight. You're talking about creating a new lot, right? A conforming lot. You're not gonna build anything on it, right?
Not yet.
You're saying that sometime in the future it may be built on.
We are gonna build on it.
Well, then where's your plan?
2 years ago, when we came back here, sewer was not approved yet at that point.
Well, again, we got to get a microphone in front of you.
Okay, well.
And if people are going to talk, they
I'll
need to
just
speak
continue
into
with
a
my-
microphone.
My logic here, my thinking is you don't have any type of a new structure that you're proposing. The only thing you are proposing tonight is the same thing I think we dealt with a couple years ago, that you just want to knock down all these buildings and use it for parking. That's my interpretation.
If I could, Mr.
I
Igo,
don't think that's allowed under the bylaw.
there is a significant difference between what was proposed 2 years ago and what is proposed tonight. When we were here 2 years ago, we were proposing a building 30 feet from the street and parking adjacent to it. We're now proposing the closest piece of parking at 175 feet from Route 28. There's also going to be a fence running along the front, so none of that parking will be visible.
Which curb cut's going to be closed?
This one right here and this one right here. There are 3 hotels there right now. We're closing the Beachway
okay.
and the
Gotcha.
Mayflower, and the Traveller will remain.
The one to the west is not being closed, though, right?
The 2 in the middle are, and the one to the west has been remain.
Okay, thank you.
So the relief we're looking for is to join this parking area with the park. There's no relief required for this. In fact, the lot is actually double the minimum size lot required for commercial property.
And we built,
Let me ask you this question. You say no relief is required for that, that lot you're creating, but you do need relief from us, don't you, to create that lot?
to create the back lot and use it in conjunction with the park. That's the
Well,
special
has the
permit
planning
request.
board approved this front lot?
Well, no, for the reason that I said, we can't.
I understand that, but you're saying we don't need, that's not a lot, in my view. That's just because you come in and say it's a lot, unless we either grant you relief to
It's a lot
create
to
it.
be created,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's got to create it.
correct?
It's not us. So you're asking us to grant you relief on a lot that hasn't even been approved to be created yet.
That gets back to the conversation about 40A. If we go to the planning board first and they approve a plan, then we have 3 pre-existing non-conforming grandfathered lots. And under the Goldhurst and other
actually-
cases, we potentially, we threaten that grandfather protection.
Unless you submit a plan to them where you merge the 3 lots. Isn't that ultimately what you want to do? To go before the planning board and say, we're making 1 lot out of 3 that are now existing?
No, we'd be going to the planning board to make 2 lots out of 3 that are
Okay.
there.
Isn't it, whatever, you go to the planning board for. I am really not impressed with the fact that this is here before the planning board has considered a modification to the existing plans of record. And I'll tell you tonight, I can't support anything on this without planning board saying that the proposal for the alteration of the lots is something that is acceptable to them. It's their bailiwick, okay? And hopefully they'll come back and say, you know, we got no problem with it because I understand what you're trying to do. But I just don't know how we are the first people in. You tell me that's the practice, I don't agree with it.
And I would just add one other thing, too. You knock those buildings down, you leave them empty for more than 2 years, and I'm not of agreement that that lot would be a legal lot at that point.
Oh, you're absolutely right. If you knock down pre-existing, if you do not use a pre-existing non-conforming condition for 2 years continuously, then you lose the status. But
So what happens, then let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What happens if we grant you your relief tonight, we're not approving that lot, you come back in 3 years and we say you abandon that right?
But we don't
What are we
need relief.
approving?
We don't need relief.
we don't,
Mr.
yeah, the front lot, when it gets created by the planning board, ultimately, because we're here really for the back lot. The front lot, when the motels are down, we're voluntarily giving up the nonconformities at that point.
How do you create it? You told us you're not going to create it because you're not going to the planning board.
Well, no. If and again, we might have a difference of opinion of the order. But our plan, I said this in the summary, is that if this board approves the amendment of the special permit, our next step is the planning board. We file an application with the planning board, because then I believe we can do that without threatening the grandfather protection of the lots that are there today.
What do you need the grandfathers for if you're not going to use them anyway?
Or you're going to build something in conformity.
Yeah.
On the front lot, yes.
What do you need them for if you said you're not gonna need those anyway, you're gonna give them up, why?
Because as they are today, to take Mr. Igo's point, if you went in tomorrow and knocked all three buildings, it's more than three, you knock all the buildings down.
Right.
You now have three very non-conforming lots, right? They're all really like bowling alleys, different, couple bowling alleys and a weird thing around it. You knock those down tomorrow, what you wind up with, arguably, is three unbuildable lots because the grandfather protection would be gone. The buildings are now gone for more than 2 years under this hypothetical we're discussing. And you could only reuse the lots if you could make them conforming, right? So what you would do is, you would do frankly something like this.
Merge the lots.
You would merge the lots into one, and what we're asking to do is to not merge it into one, but to merge it effectively into two, whereas
That's the planning board that decides that.
No, I understand on that, but all right, tell me, so if you think I'm wrong on what I'm about to say, please let me know.
I did.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not trying to be a smart ass to you. I respect you tremendously.
Yeah, no.
But here's the reality. I'm not going to vote on it
Oh, no,
tonight.
I'm not asking you to vote
And if there's
tonight.
another person that's not, then we're just spinning wheels.
No. Well, so here's my question here's my question. I come to you, the planning board's approved this. This is a question to you whether I even need to come, okay? If the planning board has approved these lots, so a conforming lot in the front and a non-conforming lot in the back to be used in conjunction with the water park, do we need to come to you to amend any of the prior water park special permit to expand the parking?
No, I think you've abandoned them, haven't you?
I'm sorry?
Ask Mark
You said
Grills.
ask Mark. Mr. Chairman, what did you say?
Haven't you abandoned them? Wasn't it more than 2 years ago we granted relief on this?
No, we haven't abandoned anything. The hotels are there. They're being used.
When was the grant of relief from this board concerning these parcels?
We didn't.
Never. You granted some relief in the back to park in the back
Oh,
part,
they
but.
withdrew?
They withdrew that part.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that part, 2 years, we withdrew
We
that.
acted substantively on it,
Oh,
okay.
no, you did, because you had those concerns, we withdrew to go back to the drawing board. We're now back from the drawing board, there are still concerns. I'm not going to ask you to vote tonight, Mr. Chairman. Don't worry about that. I'm just trying to understand, and if, what Mr. Igo said, I'm happy to meet with Mark Grills, and if he says that we can, if the planning board approves this, we don't need to come to you, then we won't come to you. But what
You guys have done a wonderful job down at that park. It's an absolute asset to this town, in my opinion. And it's done tastefully and without causing anybody driving down Route 28 to become too interested in what's going on. You've done a great job. We want to see those three buildings come down. They're an eyesore. They're a non-performing eyesore on Route 28, our only real commercial drive. So we want to see them come down. We know your owners are going to do the right thing about it. But I think we're putting the cart before the horse. Okay? So if we're going to withdraw tonight, or if you're going to ask for continuance, let's do it now, because we don't need to spin our wheels consistently and constantly. Right? Am I right there, Jay?
Mr. Chairman, since we're the last thing on the agenda, I don't know if there's any members of the public that, I just.
Well, I can ask. You want me to invite the public to say?
I'd like to, since we've heard your comments, I'd welcome hearing any other. There may not be any, but I'd welcome hearing any comments.
I have one quick question.
Please, Mr. Mentone.
With this parking lot, do you plan to expand the park into that in the future? Or is it?
The back lot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's on the plan right tonight. That's what I thought we needed relief for,
That's
yes.
for the water park.
That's that would be
So
water
are you
park
going to
parking.
expand the park with rides or
Oh, no.
attractions?
No. Okay. No, just parking.
It's going to remain parking?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the park part is on the other side. This side is the parking.
Right, because you said you were joining it, so,
Oh, just for use purposes. Yes, no, but not to expand the park itself.
Okay,
That's
good.
not part of this.
all right, very good, thank you.
Now, what is it you want? You want what are you asking us to do tonight?
Well,
I mean, is there gonna be issues?
What we came in looking for was if we needed to modify the special permits that were granted on this property by adding this parking area to it, if we needed approval from this.
My opinion is you need a variance for that.
A new one.
There's no way you can amend the special permit. You're adding a lot that's not even a legal lot. You don't have the frontage on Route 28.
But Mr. Igold, if I
Bootstrap
could
it.
stop you there.
Yeah.
We have a legal lot. If we create this, it wouldn't be a legal buildable lot. There's a substantial difference. We can have a lot that does not have
There's no reason
frontage.
for this dialogue if you're asking it to be withdrawn or continued. Why are we arguing something that isn't?
We're just trying to understand when we come back what we'd be.
Don't wanna waste your
we're-
time
Yeah,
when we
we're
come
trying to
back.
address your concerns.
I think you deal with Mark first, and Mark will tell us why he doesn't agree with the prospective
Would you
construction or whatever
would you
you're gonna do.
entertain a request for a continuance so we could talk to Mark?
Well, you can, but I can tell you, I'm not going to support a special permit request on that.
I appreciate that. But I'm still, I just like to try to, there's been a
Some
lot
other
back and
things,
forth.
if you're going to come back and you're going to look for relief relative to the water park that I want to discuss, relative to, because if you're coming back to this, I also want to talk about some things in the water park, because that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, we're happy to hear what those are if you want to
One of
share them
them
with
is
us.
that ride that you guys put in the back right corner a couple of years ago when you came in.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the scale of what you were putting back there. I don't think any of us did. We were a little bit fixed on it was only a couple feet higher. That's a pretty massive ride that's back there. And it's very visible from any vantage point that I've seen. And I'm sure the neighbors to the rear, I think you should take into consideration doing something about that to screen that from the neighbors and from Route 28.
Berm isn't
Yeah,
that.
we are in that process.
Okay.
Arborvitae's are going out.
Well, I'm just telling you right now that if I knew what the size of that ride was that you were gonna put up, if I knew it was that big, I would not have supported that. But it's there and we did support it.
And it was built per plan, I mean,
Built per plan, but sometimes it's a little difficult to understand the scale of what we're approving.
Okay, no, I
And
appreciate
think
that.
this, while it is a great benefit to the town and everybody loves it, I think it's getting pretty big. All right? And I would take another note, too.
Yes, please.
You keep knocking down all these motels, not only you alone, but the town of Yarmouth, they're knocking them down on the south side. You guys seem to be knocking them all down on the north side of 28. We don't allow motels to be built in this town. So we should, no, we don't.
Well, there's a cap, but I thought there were,
I don't know, not to my, what is the cap?
When the zoning law changed back in 20 years ago now, 18 years ago now, motels were allowed use. We need 1,000 square feet per bedroom. As long as it's in the HMOD1 or HMOD2 zone, motels are allowed by right, as long as you've got the land area.
Oh, we only have, the town seems to be taking them for affordable housing, so they're disappearing. We only have one commercial corridor. I think we should be mindful of that, okay? But anyway, that's not before us tonight, that's
I
another discussion.
appreciate you sharing that with us.
Okay?
Thank you.
Because you're taking away 3 right here under your proposal.
not
I don't know where
not
you're gonna build a
well-performing
new one
ones,
if
but-
you need one, but maybe you can somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully we
Let's
can.
strike that.
All right. We,
But-
unless, if there are no other, we're happy to take any questions you have. We'd also would offer if you're willing to continue us so we could try to regroup and rethink this.
You're asking for a
I
continuance.
am asking for a continuance.
Is anybody prepared to move for a continuance?
I'd like to discuss the matter of a continuance if
Okay,
we're gonna
sure.
consider it.
Sure,
Why
I
are we
just
gonna?
asked, is anybody prepared to move?
Why would we consider a continuance?
So that while we're before you, and I'm not saying you'll ever approve it, and I'm not saying we won't come back and ask to withdraw at the next meeting, but we're sitting at a table before you, and we'd like the opportunity, if we talk to Mark Grills and we do something, that we could come back to you, and not all the members may feel the same, or you may all feel the same, but we'd have a chance to.
Well, the planning board acts?
Maybe not. I don't know. That's why I'd like to talk to Mark Grills. If we withdraw, then we have to refile brand new. If you're continue us for a month and a half,
Did you talk to Mark Grills before you put this plan together?
Yeah, he knew. I didn't anticipate this particular concern that the board is expressing, and I don't think we anticipated it at the building
What
department.
is it that you didn't anticipate our concerns? Since you talked to Mark, what did you talk about?
Well, no, when was the last time we spoke with Mark? This has been in process for a long time, so I don't remember the last time I actually spoke to Mark about this, but what we had been discussing as with you, again, in my experience that I've done, it's always been you go to the Board of Appeals first and then the Planning Board. I'm not trying to belabor the point this evening.
No? Okay.
There I go.
I just, we have a lot of petitions to address. I don't mind continuing it. You guys have been, straight up all the time that you come in. I'm not trying to pick on you guys, but I just want to make sure it's substantive. People want to come in, it's like the last guy. He wants to continue it for what? If you have you've got something in front of us, what's going to change? You're going to come right back in and ask for the same thing and say, well, Mark said this. If Mark says something, then, he should put it in writing.
And maybe he will.
I think what he said is, you need relief.
And that's what we've applied for, and maybe that's why I'm asking for the continuance, so we can have time to just figure this out. It's a complex lot, and you're raising complex issues.
Once you go to the planning board, can't you submit an A&R plan? What's the relief you
Planning
need
board,
for
yes. Planning board would be, right?
Yes,
It'd be
there'll be an
A&R
A&R plan, yes.
It would be.
One buildable
that?
lot and one
Submit it
non-buildable.
there, get the approval, come back to us.
Okay, but if we do that, at least one member of the board has said, I don't care, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think this is what you said.
I hope I didn't use the words "I don't care," but go ahead.
Oh, yes. Bear with me.
There are 4 others of us on this board.
No, I understand that, but there's one we've been having the dialogue with the most. That's why we asked for the continuance, Mr. Chairman, so that maybe we come back,
Okay.
maybe before we do agree.
When do you want to come back? And then we'll ask for a motion to allow.
Okay. So,
I'll ask, I'm sorry, is anybody in the public? Well, let's get the date first, because if you're not going to be available, we want to hear from you tonight.
right. Last meeting in June. First meeting in July, Mr. Chairman, July 11th.
All right, does anybody in our audience care to speak in favor of this petition? If so, come to that microphone, tell us who you are. Seeing none. Does anybody care to speak in opposition to this petition? Please come to this microphone and tell us who you are.
I'm Sandra Armstrong. I live at 23 Coachman's Lane. My property does not abut the water park, but I've watched it grow through the years. And even though I think they're doing a good job offering a way to entertain the tourists and so forth, it is becoming an eyesore to our community. It was said tonight that the concerns were about 28 and what it looks like on 28. What does it look like to us who have our homes there, who want to raise our children there, who are retiring there, and want a community that is pleasant to look at? And honestly, they're beautiful new rides, I guess they're called right now, but they're monstrosities. And you say you're going to plant arborvitaes. Arborvitaes don't grow that tall. They will not hide them.
The arborvitaes are going on top of the berms.
Well, I haven't seen a burn
Let's
going
not get in that discussion,
Okay.
please.
Anyway, I would appreciate that, and it could happen. But all I'm saying is that I don't completely know how these committees work. I am just really, really shocked to see what has already appeared in our community, in our neighborhood. How did it happen? And that's what I want to prevent, that it goes even more beyond what is controllable. So,
Again, is your name?
Sandra Armstrong,
And where do you live?
23 Coachman's Lane.
Okay, anything else?
Nope. I just want to say that, I understand our community, that we need our tourist industry, but we do have residential people living here too. So I just want to see that balance. And I don't think we're getting the balance right now with what's growing out of the park.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Sure, come right to the microphone. Tell us who you are. Now,
My name's Paula Auerbach. I live at 53 Beverly Road.
last name again?
Auerbach, like red,
Okay.
Auerbach. So that new ride that you referred to, I mean, is a monstrosity. It's in people's backyards, and you can see it from any end of, like, if you come from Coachman's to Rig Road, you can see it. You can see it from 28. It's in people's backyards. I think that parking lot is going to be up against my property. There's a small wooded area. Initially, when this group came like 2 years ago, you said all the rides were going to be closer to 28. But again, that new ride is closer to Beverly Road. And I have concerns about the noise, my privacy, and my property values.
Is there a buffer on that back line between the park and your property?
There's a small wooded area, and all there is like a vinyl fence.
Yeah.
So there's going to need to be something more substantial.
Okay, thank you so very much. Does anybody else care to speak in opposition to this petition?
My name's Gary Armstrong. I have to back up what my wife said, but I'm mainly concerned about the noise. I didn't buy a property to be bombarded with noise. So far, it's only been construction, but if this this tube thing keeps moving, and I heard tonight that it's not, but if it does expand, it's only going to expand in our direction. And we have a 4-acre woodlot behind us that belongs to a motel. And if that motel should happen to sell to the water park property for any given reason, then it's just a total fiasco from there on in. I'm not opposed to kids having fun. I'm not opposed to a water park either. I've actually used them. But we do have a bit of concern regarding the noise. I've had to talk to motel people about the noise in the past. I don't appreciate doing that. I don't want to do that. But I didn't buy the house to get a set of headphones to be able to think. I have my office in the house too.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Raise your hand, come on up.
Gordon Tice, Tice, 68 Beverly. Across the street, I'm looking at that new structure they have up. I hear everybody talking about how they want to make it aesthetic, very beautiful from Route 28, but nobody said anything about, except for one gentleman, about the people on the other side, the back, and what's going to be done. Noise, kids having fun in a pool, I'm used to that. I have no problem with that. We have spent the last 4 months, whatever it is, hearing beep, 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 beep all day long. And I don't know what the noise is going to be like in the future, but I agree with them. There should be something done to the back because it's not looking that good right now. Okay?
All right, well, thank you, but I do want to point out to everybody that just spoke that those rides back there that you're mostly complaining about are, in fact, the subject of prior relief that was granted. And we are not, even dealing with that. We're dealing with a whole separate issue tonight. But I do appreciate all the insight, because I've heard Mr. Igo say that if he considers any relief on this, he's going to consider the ups and downs of that project that's causing everybody so much concern. So I wasn't on that board. Somebody approved it, and it is what it is. Go ahead.
Could Mr. Marama he has a microphone.
Is there a motion to continue?
Not from me, I asked, but I can't make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you ask for a continuance?
I did, to July
Is anybody
11th.
prepared to make a motion on the request for
Yes, I'd
continuance?
like to make a motion.
Please,
to
Mr.
continue the
Hager.
matter until July 11th for further hearing.
Okay, is there any second to that?
Second.
On
Mr.
the
Frapery?
condition that we have new information.
All right. To, what is it, 7-Eleven?
Yes.
For, with condition
My wife's birthday.
that new facts, that new information is provided. Right?
Yes.
All right, that motion.
Stay married.
Anybody, let's have a roll call vote on it. Nobody wants discussion on it, do they?
We need a second on that.
I'll
I
second.
did.
Jay seconded.
One question. I may have a problem making that time, that date.
Yeah.
7-Eleven?
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to see this board constituted just the way it is tonight for that. Because, you know, particularly, I think you've had great insight in the past on this park.
What's the one after that?
Well, the one before is June 27th. If you'd like to do that, that'd be fine.
Is that okay?
Is that okay with you?
It's fine by me.
Yeah.
Is that okay
All
with
right,
everybody
how about-
here?
Can you amend your motion?
Yeah, to 6:27.
6:27.
Sorry.
Do you amend your second on that?
Yes.
All right, 6:27. There's a motion made. We're now going to take a roll call vote. John?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
Anthony?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. It carries unanimously. We'll see you then.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Oh, sign an extension agreement, please.
Approve the minutes.
Yeah, let's get to the minutes, everybody. Everybody read them? Of course you did.
Make a motion to approve the
I wasn't here for
minutes.
the meeting, so I'm going to abstain from the vote.
Motion to approve by Sean, and I second.
Are you going
Doing the minutes first.
to, okay.
I wasn't here for them, so you guys work it out.
Sean made a motion, I second.
Okay, so have a vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't attend the first.
I
Can't vote on that.
March 14th.
Do we have another one?
Nope.
Just that one.
Nope,
No, just those? Okay.
And you had board members' request for reopen that one item?
Oh, yes, let's have a discussion on that.
It's not on the agenda.
Yeah, it's under
There
other
is.
business. I think
Board
this
members'
one,
request for reconsideration.
this is on a petition that, I don't know that we denied it or he withdrew it. I'm not
I
sure.
think you approved it, and
We approved it with a condition.
Yes.
I think we may have been mistaken on what he was actually entitled to for relief.
We didn't have the documentation that
Yeah.
showed the averaging of the neighbors.
Yeah, it was a setback averaging issue, and
Now I remember.
I actually learned something new, as I generally do every time we sit. That was no exception. But I think that if we were to bring him back for further hearing and applied setback averaging to what he requested, then I think it may be likely that we might either amend or approve what he requested.
Well, I would agree with you if we get the documentation of what the averaging is based on, that was the one thing we didn't have one.
excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I believe he does have, in fact, stamped plans now with
As long
the
as that's
setback
available,
averaging.
I'm looking.
He's got that. So could we put him on an agenda?
We could put him on May 23rd. We've penciled it in pending.
And what is
Discussion.
this for? Just specifically, what is it
It's
for?
for setback relief,
To reconsider?
yes.
Was there a board member that it took, was the fifth member that night that I should step back for? Who were the members that night?
Mr. Igo, Mr. Martin, Mr. Frapery, Mr. Neitz, and Mr.
Oh, Mr. Martin?
Panabianco.
Yeah, it was the 14th of March.
All right, so I'll sit. I just
Yeah,
need to,
You can, it's a pretty straightforward,
It is.
You can-
just shoot me the date, will you, please?
yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, I think in all fairness to the petitioner, I think it's something that we should meet and reconsider.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Boy, when I hear three intelligent board members all agree they want to rethink what they did, I'm impressed. You guys are really honest, let me tell you. Good, let's do it.
Okay, so we'll put him on for 5:23. I'm going to have to appear remotely. I'm going to be away.
You're going to be away?
I'm going to be away. But I'll Zoom in and
Oh, okay.
spend the evening with you.
Well, it's a delightful evening.
Just don't plan any social events in my
We
absence.
do have two sets of meetings here, minutes here, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Is that right?
No.
Just one?
So move to approve.
Who's doing, no,
Hold on, wait a second. Go
wait a
ahead.
second. There's only one set of minutes. The other minutes you have are related to this item that you're reconsidering.
Sorry.
Or about to reconsider, I believe. Right, someone needs to make a motion about voting to reconsider, and then we'll reconsider.
I'd like to make a motion to reconsider petition 5090 and bring the matter back for reconsideration.
Second.
Mr. Minzoni?
Aye.
Mr. Igo?
Aye.
Mr. Frapery?
Aye.
And Anthony?
Aye.
And I take no position on it because I wasn't there.
That passes unanimously on a 4-0 vote. So
Well,
we'll bring him back for 5:23. I know you guys have plans, so we'll just do that, and then we'll have him come back, and we'll have another chat about that.
All right, are we done?
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we move to adjourn, and so we have adjourned.